Welcome to Blueprints for Brilliance Coaching Insights, a podcast by coaches for coaches. Our guests share their hard-won wisdom to help you grow your coaching business and create a life of success. So get ready to unlock the blueprints to your success. Welcome, everyone, to our newest episode. Thank you so much for joining me today on our Blueprints for Brilliance Coaching Insights podcast. We have a special guest. She's fabulous. Her name is Regina Andler. Her company is Autumn Ascent Consulting, LLC. And she calls herself an AI-empowered business strategist. So we're going to find out more about that. So welcome to the show, Regina. It's lovely to have you.
Thank you so much for having me, Jeannie.
You're so welcome. So tell us a little bit about what is an AI-empowered business strategist. It's a big mouthful.
It is a big mouthful. And I just added the AI empowered on it recently because it's something new that I added to my consulting agency. Because when you think about a business strategist or a coach or a consultant, there's all these different levels of what coaches and consultants and strategists do. And what I do as a business strategist is I work with my clients hand in hand to help them strategize and plan everything that they're doing in their business to make sure that they're successful. And the AI empowered piece of it got added on recently because I have this past history of being a techie. So I grew up as a techie in corporate world, which is where I originally started way, way, way back when. And so when AI came out, of course, once a geek, always a geek. The tech in me went, ooh, what's this? This looks like fun. And so I had to get involved and check it out. And when AI first came out, the things that they were saying about AI, that it was nasty, it was bad, it was doing all this, they were actually kind of right. It was just starting out. Now it is so much better than it was before. And not only can it help you run your business, it can help your business be more successful and save you boatloads of time in your business.
I love that. Yeah, we're big fans of AI and learning every day. There's different new tools and new programs that have been written using AI. So I know a lot of people don't like it or think it's going to, end the world, but I really think that, there still has to be somebody to input the information and then translate the information once it comes out.
Yeah, the saying goes that AI isn't going to take away your job, but somebody who knows AI might.
That's perfect. I love that. So tell us a little bit about how you became a business strategist going from corporate. What was your journey to where you are now?
So that's an interesting story and a very wide and varied one. It's a life story, actually. So I was in corporate world for many, many years. And in 2000, one of my parents, my dad, actually got sick. And I left corporate world to actually start taking care of my parents. And then he got well. And at that time, I said I was in tech. And at that time, if you think back to 1999, 2000, there were no tech jobs to be found. So I applied everywhere. But for every job that was out there, there was 1,000 or more resumes sitting on people's desks. And so I decided to start my first business, which was actually a computer repair business. And so I was fixing people's computers. I started out with fixing home computers, and then I added small businesses. And as we grew, I brought on employees and I had a shop on the main drag in town and, the whole business deal. Now, when I first started the business, I had no clue how to run a business. I was not a business person. I was a corporate person. I had an MBA, but an MBA teaches you nothing about being an entrepreneur. And so I literally went and I am a lifelong learner. And so I went to the Small Business Development Center here in New Hampshire, where I live, and I took every course that they had on being an entrepreneur. So everything you need to know about business, running the business, starting the business, insurance, employees, you name it, they covered everything soup to nuts. So I learned all of that. On top of that, I started working with SCORE, and SCORE is basically a bunch of retired executives who help you run your business. And so I got my SCORE guy, and they're actually a free service for entrepreneurs. So if there's somebody out here who's thinking about, hey, I need some help, check out SCORE. And what I did was I brought the SCORE person on, and he was a numbers guy. Numbers were not my strong point. And he happened to be a financial CEO in corporate world way back when. So I learned a ton about that from him and actually got more comfortable with that. Now, if you run a business, it's not just about doing what it is that you do, your core genius. You actually have to know how to run a business. So all of these things laid the foundation for me. So now I had this business. It was actually called Computing Made Simple. And I started working with a lot of small businesses in town. And one day, it was actually funny. I love this story. One day, I walked into one of my clients. I'm there fixing their server. And I hear them talking in the background and they're chattering on because they're having this problem with their business. And as I'm listening, I'm like, I have some ideas about that. And I'm thinking to myself. And all of a sudden, I just said, I'm over here working. I finished up working on the server and I overheard you guys talking about this. Can I offer you a couple suggestions? And so I did. And they went, oh my God, that is exactly what we needed. Can you help us out with this too? And I was like, well, sure. And all of a sudden, I became a business consultant.
I love that. That's
I
fantastic.
literally fell into it. And it started with all of the experience that I had in the background. And it just came natural to me for helping as I went along. So every time I heard somebody who said, oh, this is going on, this is the problem that I'm having, I would automatically go into problem solving mode. That came from my tech. I have a lot of problem solving skills from my tech days. And so I'd go into problem solving mode going, that's okay. I love problems. Problems are fantastic because they give me an opportunity to play with it and fix it. And so I would help them fix things. And literally, I started a side company called Remington Technology, and that became the consulting arm of my business. I had more and more of my customers start asking me. So anytime somebody asked me, I just started handing them that card. And it just kind of organically grew as I was a member of the Chamber of Commerce and other things at the time. And so I would go to these meetings and, oh yeah, I heard you helped so-and-so out with this. Can you help me too? It's like, yeah, sure. So it just organically started. Now I'm going to fast forward to 2009, and my dad had passed away in 2007, and he was my mom's primary caregiver. So mom came to live with my husband and I in New Hampshire. And in 2007, she moved in. And by 2009, I realized I can't run a business and be a full-time caretaker at the same time. I tried. I had my employees, they were covering a lot of stuff. I just couldn't do the balancing act anymore. And so I actually sold the company, and I actually sold it at a loss. It was a choice. It was take care of mom or run the business. Both of them aren't going to happen. I chose mom.
Very good.
Mom won. And so then mom passed in 2013. Now, during the time that she was with me, the 6 years she was with me, I didn't stop. I started dabbling in what can I do from home while I'm taking care of mom that's not going to, take out of my time with her that I can kind of do on the side whenever I want to. So I started dabbling into some multi-level marketing businesses, and I bounced in and out of a few of them. Now, again, lifelong learner. I loved going to conventions. So if you know anything about MLMs, they have their convention every year, and they have great training because it's all about the business. And so they have great business training. I saw John Maxwell. I saw all these like amazing speakers on stage at these conventions and learned a boatload more information about running a business and all of these other pieces. So when mom passed in 2013, I kind of sat down and went, what am I going to do? And I said, all right, well, you know what? At the end of the day, I'm still fixing computers here and there. So I'm just going to start a little side computer business. And so I did that. And I was like, at that point, I was 50 years old. And I said, you know what, when I'm 60 years old, I don't want to be fixing computers. I don't want to be crawling under people's desks anymore and, playing with wires and, cleaning the dust out of computers and all that kind of stuff. I don't want to be doing that anymore. So what am I going to do? You're really good at this consulting stuff too. So why don't we think about that? Now, the plan originally was when I turned 60, that I would start what I call now, my retirement business, Autumn Sun Consulting, and I would do my business consulting. And then we had COVID. And as that happened, a good friend of mine, I actually took a side job as a technical project manager to basically, just keep busy and do things. And a little funny side note there, the people who owned that company started asking me how to fix their business. Go figure. So I actually helped them
sense a recurring theme here.
Right? I think it was the universe saying, this is what you do. Go do it. Well, a friend of mine in 2020. So I actually turned 60 no, 2 years ago. I'm 61 now. So yes, I turned 62 years ago. So it was 2020, and I have a couple years to go before 60. And I'm chatting with my friend, and he goes, Regina, when are you going to start your consulting business? Because I was actually on the phone chatting with him, and I said, oh yeah, I was working with this person there that was helping them with their business, and I was doing this. And he's like, are you getting paid for this? And I said, well, I was kind of helping him on the side, and it was kind of gratis, because I didn't really have a business doing that. And so he just He literally stopped. He goes, so Regina, when are you going to start your business? And I said, well, I got a couple more years until I'm 60. And he literally looked at me. We were on a Zoom just like this. And he looked me in the eyes and he said, no, Regina, seriously, when are you going to start your business? And I just started laughing. I said, apparently I'm starting it now.
Excellent. I love that.
That was the birth of Autumn Ascent Consulting, which is my official retirement business.
So great. I love that. I love that you came back to what came naturally to you and what you enjoyed and what you didn't have to crawl on the floor for.
It wasn't without a lot of bumps along the way. I mean, all of this stuff, there's lots of lessons. And it's actually one of the things that I do with my business is I have a proprietary methodology called the unicorn factor. And it's basically all about being unique and finding that authentic piece of what you do. And it wasn't until I actually took that onto myself to find my own unicorn factor. And I went, what do I do that other people don't do? One of the things that I found really early on when I started my business and I had some clients was that people have, tech happens, right? And I'd be working with them and we're working on maybe a lead magnet or doing something on social media or getting their business going and working on systems and processes. And they're like, oh my God, my computer's not working. I don't know what to do. Let me take a look at it. I'll fix it for you. There's very few business consultants out there that will actually fix your computer too. I found that was one of my unique features as a business consultant is that, hey, if you have a tech problem, you have a question on an app, on some kind of app that you're using, at the end of the day, they're all the same. They're all written with code. It's all the same stuff. I know this because that's kind of ingrained in me as tech. That was part of my core genius that I could have people come to me going, hey, have you ever used this app? No, I haven't, but let me take a look at it for 5 minutes and I'll tell you how it works. And I was able to help them. So it was actually all of that background built what is today. And again, lifelong learner. Now I'm in that AI space. I'm loving this. AI is just so amazing.
You're so funny because my business partner said, I've never wished that I were younger, like in my 20s again. She goes, except when AI came out. Like I want to see that through, years and years and years from now. So I can totally relate to that. So fun. So unicorn factor. Is it possible that you wrote a book that has something to do with it?
I did. And it's called The Unicorn Factor. And the subtitle is Demystifying Marketing Content to Set You Apart from the Crowd. And when it all comes down to it, the Unicorn Factor, the book is really about the marketing content. The Unicorn Factor as a whole, the methodology, is about you as a business owner, that authentic piece of you, that core genius, those things that you have that nobody else has. Authentically being you. That's what it's all about. Now the book focuses on how to create that unique content because one of my pet peeves as I was growing up through some of this consulting stuff that I was learning was that I found that there were way too many mini-me's out there. There were people who were learning from other people. And I've gotten to the point where people can come to me and they start spewing some information or they'll send me an email or shoot me a DM and I'll be like, oh, you worked with so-and-so, didn't you? And it's because they were trained to do things the way they do them. A lot of the big gurus out there, they teach you and they say, use my model, use my words, just put your name on it, do this, do that, use these templates, it should look like this. And they basically become a mini me. They lose themselves in the process. They don't show the real authentic them and they lose that. And I'll tell you, standing out in a crowded marketplace, that is the only way that you do it, is you show up as you. You show up as the one who's not like everybody else. Because if you show up like everybody else, what's going to happen? People are going to choose based on price. Well, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. As soon as you start showing up authentically you still know all that stuff. But now you're showing up as you and people go, oh, you know what? I like Jeannie. Jeannie's different than the rest of them. She doesn't do things the way everybody else does it. She does them different. And I want to work with somebody who actually helps me find that piece. So that's what I built within the Unicorn Factor. And I literally built that because I had to find that in me.
I love that. Oh, I love that so much. Yeah, I can relate to seeing some things that other people post or write or email. And I think the same thing, like, oh, you studied under so-and-so, or, you're a student of this person. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's hard, I guess, when you're younger and newer to, like you say, find yourself, find your your unicorn part of what you do, but it's so important. And, when you follow some of these gurus and you try and mimic what they do, they're in a different place than you are. If you've got, for example, a YouTube channel that has 2 million subscribers, well, you can do things a little bit different than somebody has a YouTube channel that has 500 and they're trying to grow. It's just a different space, and you have different needs. So I love that.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it's all about, because I myself worked with coaches and consultants who did exactly that. And I had some of my own coaches that said, Regina, stop trying to do things your way. Just do it the way I'm telling you to do it. That would just irk me so much, because I said, I don't want to look like you. I don't want to be you. They're like, well, don't you want to be successful like me? And it's like, some of the coaches and consultants I worked with said they were successful. Success is a relative thing. Successful where? What, financially, you have a more client. What is it that makes you successful? And so as I started looking at that, I actually created this space where I said, I am never going to do that to one of my clients. They need to be them. And so most of my clients that I work with, my regular annual consulting program, it's by application only. And there's no website, it's literally a conversation. People come to me and say, hey, how do I work with you? And it's like, well, let's have a conversation, because I need to know that you're not just coming to me saying, okay, Regina, tell me what to do. Because I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm going to guide you. That's what a strategist does. So I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm not going to give you the step-by-step. We're going to start. Yes, there's an overall layer of things that, yes, it's a foundation of business and all those pieces. You need to make it yours. You need to make it how it is for you. And that's what I do, is I help people bring out those pieces. Because like you said, if you're a younger coach and you're out there, you're like, well, I don't have a whole bunch of experience yet. I haven't done a whole bunch of things yet. That's okay. It doesn't matter. You still have a whole bunch of things that It could be, you played on a team in high school and you learned great teamwork skills. You learned great communication skills someplace. You have skills that you probably don't even know that you have. And that's what I do, is I help bring those out, and then we create the business around you for your authentic business, because you don't want it to look like my business. I don't want my business to look like your business. I want my business to be mine, yours to be yours, and both of us to be successful. No matter what kind of a coach you are, hundreds of thousands of health coaches out there, business coaches, speaking coaches. There's all kinds of different coaches and consultants that are out there, and there's thousands of them. It is a really crowded marketplace. It's like 80% of them are mini-me's. And then there's that 20% that shines. There's that 20% that's like, oh, that's who I want to work with. I want to work with that person over there, because they're doing it different. They're the ones who are standing out from the rest of them.
This is so fabulous. I love what you're doing with people. And now we'll have to get your book. Is it available on Amazon?
It is available on Amazon.
Okay. Well, we'll make sure we put a link to it in the show notes. So tell us a little bit about who your ideal client is. What type of people are best to work with you?
I actually have two different types of ideal clients. And those are I'm just starting out, because I don't know if it's the mother in me or what. I just, those people, those younger people who are going, okay, I'm just starting. I have no idea where to go. I love to help them build what's going to become their empire. And so those people who are 1 to 5 years in business, I just absolutely love working with them. 1 to 5 years in business. Primarily, I work with women. I do have some men that I work with, so I'm not one or the other. However, I predominantly work with women, and I just love, from the foundation up, helping people get started. So that's number one.
And I'm not surprised, because, you're the person who sees that unicorn and sees those really unique aspects in someone and can help them bring that and understand that that's unique to them and help them bring that to the table. So I love that. And I also knew that you work with women, because women underestimate how much they know, they do. We're, typically home managers, family managers, dealing with discrepancies and dealing with challenges all day long, and just don't think of that as monetarily important. So I love that. Keep going.
Absolutely. So the second type of people is actually what my company was named for. So Autumn Ascent Consulting was actually named for the demographic that I was working with at the time, which was women 45 and older that were saying, you know what, I'm done with corporate world. I don't want to be in corporate world anymore. How do I get out of this? I want to start my own consulting business. I want to start my own coaching business. How do I get out of there and basically create my retirement business? And so that is the second side. And those people have the same kind of challenges as the younger ones. They're a little bit different though, because they have a whole different set of experiences and a whole different set of trainings. If you've ever been in corporate world for any length of time, chances are pretty good they've sent you to some seminars or some trainings, or, they had some kind of, programs going on in the building, communication stuff, and you have skills that you don't even realize that you have. And so again, it's like the older women who are starting out for a business and even established in a business that say, well, I'm just not getting enough clients. So that whole set of people that are out there that are mini me's that go, I'm tired of being a mini me. How do I find that? How do I stand out? That's that demographic. It's those people who have that business already and they're not quite sure how to figure out, how do I make myself unique? How do I make myself stand out in the crowd?
Yeah, I love that because they have so much to give. And at that point, it's usually a passion for them. It's something they believe wholeheartedly in. It's not a paycheck. It's how can I help people change their lives? So excited. Okay. So what is the best way for people to reach out to you, Regina, to get your help or to talk to you to see if, you might be the right person to help them?
Sure. I actually use Linktree. So a lot of people use Linktree now. So I don't know if people know that. That's linktr.ee. That's Linktree is a fabulous app, and you can use the free version. And that's what I do. And I am Regina Andler on there. And on Linktree, what it does is it allows you to put all of your links. So I have a free guide out there, how to avoid the 5 biggest mistakes coaches and consultants make. I have another webinar that's out there, a free webinar. A link to my book is out there as well. All of my social links out there. My website is out there. Yeah, my email is there. You name it, it is there. If you can't get a hold of me through Linktree, you'll never get a hold of me.
Well, we'll definitely put your Linktree in the show notes. So last question for you. If you could provide one tip to make the world a better place, what would that be?
Be kind. Always be kind. One of the things that I also do is, I'm very philanthropic and I sit on 2 different nonprofit boards. One helps the homeless, one helps aging adults. And it's give back. Be kind, give back. You never know who needs a smile. You're walking down a grocery store aisle and you see somebody who looks totally miserable. You'd be surprised how much a smile can change their day.
I love that. Regina, this has been such a pleasure to get to know you today. And I know our audience is thrilled to have heard all of your expertise, and you're such an inspiration. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun.
Thanks for joining us today on Blueprints for Brilliance Coaching Insights. We hope you're leaving this episode with inspiration to take your coaching business and your life to the next level. If you found value in this episode, we would love it if you would subscribe and share it with someone else who you think might benefit from hearing it. Thanks, and we'll see you in the next episode.